According to Bank of America, the market is going to crash in 2018. How they come to these conclusions is a very wild and irrational pile of guesswork. Today, we see how everything is unfolding. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. So Bank of America has this prediction, yet Janet Yellen is saying quite the opposite. So we'll get into that today. Let's begin with this article. Bank of America sees the end of the bull market coming in 2018. Here's how it will happen. Apparently, the S&P 500 is going to peak at exactly 2863, not one more or less. What is not addressed by any of these predictions, especially when we get into technical analysis, is that this bull market is a central banker's bull market. It's not real investment. Sure, there are real people putting their money in, but the reason why it's going in the direction it has is because of central banks. We know that. We know that that is a fact. So they try to come up with calculations and these technical analysis, and they try to break it down for us to make it really easy. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. And as long as the central banks are willing to print, I believe that they can continue to have this stock market go higher and higher, or at least keep it stagnant. There's no telling how much money they can print. We've only seen the trillions. We haven't even seen the quadrillions yet. We'll get there. We believe the air in risk assets is getting thinner and thinner, but the big top in price is still ahead of us. We will downgrade risk aggressively once we see the excess positioning profits and policy. In my opinion, we've already seen the excess. So why not downgrade risk right now? Well, of course, they don't see it for what it is. I like to break it down and make it simple. Central banks print money, stocks go up. It's a fact. Why do we need to look at all of the specific technical analysis if I know specifically what's causing the market to rise? It talks about, various things in this article, but what they said was, if it continues to August 22nd, 2018, then it would be the longest in history. The longest bull market in history at a time when interest rates have been the lowest in history, at a time when they've printed the most currency at one given time. There's never been a global QE that's been happening. We've seen obviously the hyperinflations that have existed, but never before has the whole world printed money all at once, at least to this degree. So you want to know why this could very well be the longest in history? Simply because of all the actions that they've been taking. Many people would say, look, I'm fine with it. I don't care. I'm making money. Well, one thing that is not keeping up with all of this money printing, and day by day it gets worse, is wage inflation. There's a lot of inflation out there, but not in our wages. And that will catch up to us. Look at the housing prices. Look, the housing prices, particularly in areas of Canada, Vancouver, Toronto, you want to take London, for example. San Francisco, Manhattan, doesn't matter. You see extreme prices. If it's going to cost you $2 million for the average home, who's going to afford it? It's not possible. Just not possible. It gets to a point where it breaks people's backs. The Federal Reserve is, quote, reasonably close to its goals and should keep gradually raising U.S. interest rates to avoid dual pitfalls of letting inflation drift below target for too long and of driving unemployment down too far. That's according to Janet the Felon. Now, listen to this claim. You've heard it before, but it's the most ridiculous thing I've read. Some people, they like to watch sitcoms. Some people, they get their they're fancy elsewhere. Okay, let's just put it that way. For me, I love to hear central bankers, those in the financial industry, telling lies to people's face, and then hearing people in the financial industry pick up on that and tell me that. It's just priceless. A day after announcing her retirement from the central bank, planned for early February, Yellen said that the Fed aims to avoid the boom and bust economy of the past. You are going to change history. There have been booms and busts, going back to the great inflation of Athens. And you are so smart that you're going to stop it. And that's why we have millions of people around the world who are going to be burned by all of this. I keep hearing people every day telling me they're pouring more money into the market. They're telling me all of that money they're putting in their kids' education fund. I just had someone tell me their children's education fund they're going to top up. And it hurts to hear it. I didn't put my 2 cents in, that's for sure, but perhaps I should have. And let's move on here. More about the Fed. This is the FOMC meeting. In light of the elevated asset valuations and low financial market volatility, several participants expressed concerns about a potential buildup of financial imbalances. They worried that a sharp reversal in asset prices could have damaging effect on the economy. What are they worried about? Oh, maybe all of that intervention isn't so good after all. So, of course, you're seeing that there's no bubble. Don't worry about it. They've downplayed that. Nothing to worry about. Have no fear. Because, of course, the bubble was created by them, so they can never admit to that, even after it happens. Think about this. In 2008, markets are coming down. We start to see what was happening with subprime. They were telling us consistently, everything is fine. There is no recession. Everything is fine. Shut up. Now is a good time to invest. And then what happened? March 2009, it hit the floor. 666 on the S&P. Most people were not prepared for that. Switching gears. Marine Le Pen. Now, you may know of her. In France, they were actually closing bank accounts of hers and her parties. I thought this was interesting because a lot of people put faith in the banking system. And they really hold it up high. And they think that it's strong, stronger than this market or that market or this type of investment or that type of investment. And they're closing people's accounts. I'm not saying they stole their money. I don't exactly know how it all worked. They declined to offer a full explanation. But I don't trust them. I do not trust any money that I have in the bank, which is minimal, which is just for, your daily expenses. That I consider it to be gone at any time. I may try to use my bank card, try to take money out or what have you, and I may one day just not have access for whatever reason. There's a bank holiday or what have you. I don't know what's going to happen to it. I don't have any faith in it, and I am already in that mind state. Now, Turkey is really suffering here. I just wanted to quickly mention that it hit another record low against the dollar. So always remember that what your currency is valued at, wherever you live, what your currency is at might be a very different story compared to your currency versus another, and that might affect your imports significantly. All of a sudden, you are getting something and it's 3 times as much. maybe you never really felt it before, but now because of that importing, or the fact that everything is measured in the US dollar, so you're getting hurt there, you're going to be in trouble. So I always want to think about that. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you will find my books, The Money GPS and my newer release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can actually flip through these books. If you go over to Amazon, they have a look inside feature. That's going to allow you to flip through the pages of the books to see if you like them. Take care.